we got to talk about the Steelers situation with Ben Roethlisberger. Look, man, if you've been on the channel for a while, you guys know I'm a Steelers fan. You know, I rep black and yellow. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Yinzer. And I'm here to tell you right now that last season was the most disappointing season I've ever witnessed. And some people might bring up that what season was it? 2017, where we were 12-4, 13-3, or something like that. We get a first round bye, you know what I'm saying? And then for the first time in a long time, we get a first round bye. We go to the playoffs and get absolutely smacked by the Jaguars. For some reason, we couldn't beat the Jaguars to save our lives. And don't get me wrong, they had probably the best defense of all time with some of those players they had on that team. They got a lot of Hall of Famers that could potentially be on that defense, but it was it was so disappointing to watch that team go and just play like that. And it comes down to the whole team being ready. I'm not even gonna say the whole team being ready. It comes down to Mike Tomlin, and it came down to Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, let's be realistic here. Ben Roethlisberger, in some of the big games that the Steelers lose, most of the time it's because of poor play from Ben Roethlisberger. Now, don't get me wrong, I could make a whole statement about Randy Finkner and how Randy Finkner's fired now, or I can make a whole statement about how Mike Tomlin never has this team ready against teams that suck. You know what I'm saying? The Steelers were 7-8-0 when we faced the Cowboys. I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this team may actually be good at football. And then we play against the Cowboys without Dak Prescott, with a third string quarterback who I don't even remember what his name was. And I remember us struggling for 3 quarters against that Cowboys team. That game right there woke me up and said, well, we thought this team was good, simply they're not. And I know a lot of Steelers fans will call you a fake fan if you say, like, you know, this team isn't as good as you think they are because they're undefeated. We were 11-0, and I was like, look, man, this team isn't good. I'm telling y'all right now. We struggled against the injury-riddled Ravens. We ended up losing to the football team. The team was simply, and we lost that in prime time. This team just simply wasn't good enough. We kept getting embarrassed in prime time on prime time football channels. You know what I'm saying? And it was really embarrassing. And ultimately, it boiled down to the offense just not being ready. We wasted a top tier defense. Half of our players were on their contract years. I think this was the best roster the Steelers have had since 2017. I think this was the best. This was our best chance. We had Ben back, a quarterback who was decent enough, you know, to maybe win us a couple games. We had Juju. We had Chase Claypool, an excellent draft pick. But the Steelers, the Steelers going to do their thing when it comes to drafting wide receivers. They don't miss. If they draft a wide receiver and you don't think you like him, it doesn't matter. He's going to be great. You're going to love him. And then, TJ Watt on the defense, Cam Sutton, playing as great as he was. This team was so great. You know what I'm saying? We had all these contract year players showing out, trying to get these new deals. We had Bud Dupree looking his best, I think, after being, mediocre for so long. But I'm just going to come out and say it right now, man. The Steelers are in a sticky situation with Ben Roethlisberger. Okay? I've said this before. I'm going to say it again. Ben Roethlisberger is no longer the answer for the Steelers' problems. And I know a lot of fans and I know a lot of people like to look at it that way, but I'm here to tell you right now that it's not going to work. Let me give you a great example of a team being ready for the future, even though they had a quarterback who was playing great. And that team has just recently won a Super Bowl. That team is the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs were already a dominant team. You know what I'm saying? They had Tyreek Hill. The Kansas City Chiefs had constant years of 10-6, 12-4. They just didn't have that edge that would really put them over the top. And it necessarily wasn't Alex Smith, because Alex Smith was a baller. You know what I'm saying? Before the injuries and everything, Alex Smith was a baller. But yet, when the draft came around, even though this team was still pretty good at football, the Chiefs traded up and drafted Patrick the GOAT Mahomes at pick 10. I'm talking about a desperate pick for a quarterback. They saw something no one else did. And they traded up and they draft Patrick Mahomes. And Patrick Mahomes becomes possibly the most talented quarterback in the NFL right now. Well, I'm not even going to say possibly. He is the most talented quarterback in the NFL right now. And he will be for a long time. And he doesn't start his first year. He doesn't start. He plays only in that final game of that season, I think. And the next season he starts, and the Seattle Seahawks are this dominant team. And you know what makes me so mad about that is because I'm like, the Steelers haven't done that. The Steelers, the most desperate I've seen the Steelers in the draft since I've been a fan is when they traded up to take Devin Bush. Other than that, the Steelers have not been as desperate as I feel like they need to be. We've slowly dug the team into a hole. Don't get me wrong, the defense is set for success. We got to bring back Cam Sutton. We got to bring back TJ Watt. We're going to lose Bud Dupree, but I feel like Alex Highsmith is a great player, so it's all good. But the offense, we have dug it into a hole. There is no reason we shouldn't already have a backup beast quarterback on our roster who's ready to take over this team. Because Ben's what, 38, 39? Ben's pushing 40. And when he came back this season, I thought maybe, okay, this team could be great. You know what I'm saying? Top defense in the league. You know, not even statistically wise, but when I'm talking about players, I think the Steelers could potentially have the best talented defense in the league. And then I think offensively, our offense can be good enough to win games with Ben back. And they were 11-0. And like I said, when that Cowboys game happened, that's when I lost all faith in the Steelers' ability to win football games. We should have drafted a quarterback a long time ago. I don't know what quarterback it would have been, but I think we should have been drafted a quarterback. Even this year, I think we have to go for a quarterback. And a lot of people are saying, look, well, we need a running back. Our run game sucks. Our O-line sucks. Look, in the first round, if we can pick a quarterback, specifically Trey Lance, a guy who doesn't turn the ball over, who's got a quick release, you know, great pinpoint accuracy, I think we have to pull the trigger on it. We need to be desperate like we were when we drafted Devin Bush the last time we had a first round pick. We have to be desperate. We got to be desperate like when we gave a first round pick to the Dolphins for Minkah Fitzpatrick. The Steelers have gotten more desperate recently because this Steelers team used to really rarely make good trades that actually benefited the team. It was really only the draft and, you know, some minor free agent signings. The Steelers still haven't been, you know, desperate in free agency. But I think at this point the Steelers got to get desperate. And when I say desperate, I mean on the offensive side of the ball. Some of these players need contracts that we don't need to re-sign. James Conner, he has to go. I want him out. Villanueva, I want him out. Mike Hilton, I love Mike Hilton, but Cam Sutton's younger and he's better in coverage. We got to keep Cam Sutton. We can't let Cam Sutton walk. I think Mike Hilton is the best to walk, and I feel like Mike Hilton will ask for more cash anyway. So it's best to just bring back Cam Sutton, and then we got to re-sign TJ Watt, and TJ Watt's going to want a thick deal. And when I say thick, I mean thick with 2 C's. But let's get back to the Steelers situation with Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger was like, look, I'm contemplating retirement. And every fan's instant reaction is, it's not even every fan. It's more of a civil war going on right now in Pittsburgh because you got fans saying, okay, we need you to retire in order for us to become a better team, in order for the Steelers front office, Kevin Colbert, Mike Tomlin, and Art Rooney II to start pushing this team, you know what I'm saying, start becoming more and more desperate. Because right now, the Steelers have no urgency to get this team on the right track. The Steelers have no urgency to find a quarterback to take up after Ben. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not Mason Rudolph. Mason Rudolph sucks. You know what I'm saying? Duck sucks. Josh Dobbs sucks. We signed Dwayne Haskins. Come on. We signed Dwayne Haskins. And I don't want to be that guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to diss Dwayne Haskins because I think, with a new team, we can give him a fresh start and see how he plays. And he signed for an absolute minimum. So I'm like, it's not a bad signing, but it's not a good signing either. It's just like a basic signing. It's a Steelers signing. But I think when it comes to Ben Roethlisberger, when it comes to me on what side I'm on, do I want him to retire or do I want him to stay? The answer simply is, I want him to retire. I'm on that side of the fans where I'm like, look, in order for this Steelers team to start pushing urgency, in order for us to start being desperate in the draft, more desperate than we are, we got to start making desperate moves. And that'll start when Ben Roethlisberger retires and the Steelers realize, oh my God, we need a starting quarterback. As long as Ben Roethlisberger stays, the Steelers will have no urgency. Now, Ben Roethlisberger at most is going to play one more season. If he comes back this year, this will be his last season. I don't think he'll play again after this season because he's like, look, I really want to win, but the Steelers are in no position to win at all. Not with Ben Roethlisberger at quarterback. Ben Roethlisberger no longer has the tools and necessities to win the Steelers a championship. And I know that sucks to say because I love Ben Roethlisberger. When he retires, I will continue to love Ben Roethlisberger because when I became a Steelers fan, he was the quarterback. And at this moment, when he's going to retire, I'm still going to be a Steelers fan and he's still going to be a starting quarterback. But at this point right now, for the Steelers to become a better team, we need Ben Roethlisberger to retire and we need the Steelers to become more urgent in the draft so that we can get better, so that this team can get better at football. The quarterback position has changed. Okay, you can no longer get these unathletic quarterbacks. Now, don't get me wrong, Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, he had a super team. So it's really not, it's not like something that, it's not something that I'm going to look at and be like, oh my God, this Tom Brady win after 40. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, dude, I'm not, this is a great Super Bowl win for Tom Brady, but I'm not looking at it like, oh my God, the GOAT, the GOAT wins another, the GOAT wins dude, this was a super team. It's not impressive. It's a Super Bowl win. So obviously, what does that word mean? But I'm like, that's getting me back to my point. Oh, these unathletic quarterbacks, this is not working anymore. You think Drew Brees just retired because Drew Brees realized that. He realized that, you can't just have unathletic quarterbacks. He realized like me staying in New Orleans isn't going to benefit New Orleans at all. So what did he do? He retired. And that's smart of Drew Brees because he sets the Saints up. The Saints now have to be desperate into looking into the future for that team. The longer Drew Brees would have stayed, they would have just kept, getting to the divisional round and getting their cheeks clapped every single year. But now that Drew Brees is gone, they're going to try to benefit that team. They're going to try to fix that team. They're going to try to have that team ready for next year, like a pit stop at NASCAR, ready for the next lap. That's how it is, and that's what the Steelers have to look at with Ben Roethlisberger, and that's what I want the fans to understand. I don't dislike Ben Roethlisberger. I love Ben Roethlisberger. I think he's been a great quarterback. He's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's a 2-time Super Bowl winner. He's played in 3 Super Bowls. But Ben has to go. Ben has to retire in order for the Steelers to become more urgent and for the Steelers to become better because they haven't been urgent with him. So maybe we can push them into getting urgent without him. If Ben stays, we draft a running back. We go O-line the entire draft. Boom. We maybe the team gets better. If he leaves, we have to find a way to trade up, take a quarterback. Potentially, it's going to be Trey Lance. Mac Jones is not going to be one of the top guys. I saw some people saying Justin Fields. That's impossible. Trey Lance or Mac Jones are our only options, and I prefer Trey Lance. I like more what I see from Trey Lance. But if Ben stays, we got to still trade up and try to get Najee Harris, second round Creed Humphrey, some good O linemen. We got to move fast. We got to become more urgent if the Steelers team wants to be good at football.